Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's episode, I am joined by Emma Venusio. She is a Wisconsin commit and currently plays for the Etobicoke Dolphins in the OWHL. Emma, this past year, helped Team Canada to a U18 World Championship gold medal. Emma, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. And how's everything going?
Oh, it's going good. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's a bit rainy here today, but overall, not too bad.
Same here.
Well, I want to start off the podcast and sort of work all the way down from the beginning of your career to now. So doing research on yourself, it says that you're from Toronto. So talk about growing up there and how did you start playing hockey?
Yeah, so I started playing hockey, I think I was around 5. And I was doing these skating lessons at the time. At the end, my parents gave me the option to play hockey or do figure skating. And my older cousin was playing hockey at that time. So I guess I just wanted to follow in her footsteps. So I went hockey, but I was also doing gymnastics. And I was trying to go competitive for that. So I was doing both hockey and gymnastics for a while. And then I had to choose between the two because they were taking up a lot of time. And let's just say I did not go the gymnastics route.
Yeah.
So ever since then, it's just been hockey.
Yeah. Obviously, if you did, this would be college gymnastics talk, not college hockey talk.
Yeah.
What made you want to choose hockey over gymnastics?
Oh, it just wasn't for me.
Hmm.
I was doing it, but like I just loved hockey so much more.
Did you have a favorite player growing up? I'm assuming it was probably someone on the Leafs, but that could be just my guess.
Well, for a long time, the Leafs were really, really bad. So I think for me, it was always Sidney Crosby. Just he was Canadian, so I got to see him play for Team Canada for a while. And the way he plays was really cool, and it was always fun watching him.
Now, like I mentioned in the intro, you currently play for the Etobicoke Dolphins. So my first question is, how'd you get the opportunity to play for that organization? Because I'm sort of unfamiliar with how that process works since I'm American.
Hmm. So I was playing boys hockey for a while, up until my minor bantam year. And then it was time for me to switch over to girls hockey. And Etobicoke was always a really good team. I actually trained with a few girls that played in Etobicoke when I was younger, and they were older, so I always really looked up to them. I also live in Etobicoke, so it's really convenient for my parents to drive me to the rink. So yeah.
And just talk about what it's like playing in the OWHL and just the competition that you face each game.
Well, it's a really competitive league, which I love. So getting up for every game is really fun. I know a lot of girls on all the other teams, so it's always fun competing against them and taking shots and going back and forth.
And just talk about some of the best memories you have with the Etobicoke so far.
Well, I've been with Tobago for 2 years now. It feels like so long ago. But the first year I was at the Etobicoke, we won our provincials. We had a really special group of girls, so it was really cool being able to win with that group. And then every year, our coach Joe takes us to the Rink of Dreams, which is like a really really cool outdoor rink in Toronto. And we do a skills competition, so like we get hardest shot, skating, and we do breakaway challenges, which is always really fun. And the family that owns the rink and the house is the best, hosting us every year. So I'd say that's a pretty good time.
Who did you win any of those competitions, or I want to know who won some of those? Like who won the hardest shot?
I had the hardest shot this year. It
Nice.
was a pretty fun one. I had to redeem myself from last year because Avi Adam beat me the first year.
How many miles per hour did it go?
Oh, I don't even remember. It was like 73, I think.
That's not bad.
I don't remember.
You
Not
need to try to
bad.
get up that to 85 and 90 before you head to college. I think that'll be pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Well, before this season, one thing I found interesting was your team has sort of had to deal with a lot of challenges due to the pandemic, with a lot of restrictions and sort of games being postponed and delayed. So my question is,
Mhm.
how did you handle that challenge, and how do you think it's made you a better hockey player, especially since you haven't really played consistent games up until this past season?
Yeah, we did a lot of things actually throughout the pandemic. I know the first time when it shut down, we got out on a rollerblades a lot. It was a big thing. My sister and I would go, there's a tennis court near our house, and it was shut down, but we'd go out there and rollerblade almost every day for like hours. And there was like a Starbucks, so we'd get Starbucks. So that was fun. But then in the winter, we'd go out and play shinny early in the mornings just before they open to get out on the ice because we weren't allowed on the ice at all. But I think now that I'm back in hockey, it just helped me like appreciate the small things, and just a bit more of appreciation for hockey.
Yeah. I do want to ask, did you do a lot of at-home workouts during that time? And do you think that benefited yourself in any way?
Yeah, actually, my dad built an at-home gym in our basement, so I was doing that a lot. And then some of my trainers had us working out outside. So I actually, my whole entire family would go out to run some hills um, throughout that. So we got a lot done.
Now, what do you think's been like the biggest improvement you've made to your game from your first year with Etobicoke to this past season?
hmm I've learned a lot about myself, I think, over this past year on and off the ice. I mean, I played a lot of hockey this year, which has been really fun. But I've been really working on my skating throughout the year with my skating coach. So I feel like that's helped me over the year become more of a dynamic player, not just in terms of skating, but when I have the puck, all that kind of stuff. But I think most of all, I've learned to be more confident in myself. So again, just playing a lot of hockey would help me just to become more confident in my abilities and yeah.
Now, I know you have another year left, but how is your junior hockey experience helping prepare you for college hockey with Wisconsin in a couple of years from now?
I think it's helped me a lot with managing my time and being able to balance team practices, training, school, and just getting everything done.
Now, obviously, college hockey fans that haven't seen you play yet, just describe your game to them and what can fans expect when they watch you play.
That's a tough one because I'd like to say I do a little bit of everything, but I like to play really offensive. I like to shoot the puck, and I love getting in some good board battles.
I could tell that because I was looking at some of the U18 World Championship photos from the games that you played. I felt like you were always getting a lot of physical scrums with some of the players there.
Yeah, I know they got a few of me in front of the net.
I don't know if you did you see the one against Sweden where you're like shoving that girl and it's I don't know, it was a pretty good photo, I thought. It showed how tough you were.
I didn't see it. I have to go check it out.
Well, just talk a little bit about the goals and expectations that you have with the Tobico next season, and do you have any individual goals as well for next season that you want to accomplish?
Yeah, for the team, I think we're going for league championships this year. We have a really great group this year, so I think we can get it done. And then for me, I just want to keep working on myself on the ice, but off the ice, just being a better leader to my teammates. And yeah, going for provincials and league championships this year.
Well, we did sort of mention it earlier, but I do want to transition and talk about the latest U18 World Championships that you were a part of. So just talk about the process that you went through for making Team Canada and where were you when you found out that you made the team?
Yeah, so earlier in the summer, I think it was August, they had us out for like a almost 2 week tryout camp. We did a lot. We did some testing. We got on the ice quite a bit. So I got to meet a lot of girls from throughout Canada, which was really fun. And then they kept us for like a series. If we made it, we got to stay an extra week, which was really fun. Got to play against the US, which is always a good time. Finland, actually, we played a couple games against them, so it was lots of fun. And then we went back, everybody went back home, played the season, and then Hockey Canada was watching us throughout the year, just seeing how we're improving and progressing throughout the year. And then it was time for calls again. And I remember I was in the gym working out when I got the call because they told us the date we were gonna get called, but we didn't have a time. So I was like, I'm still gonna go to the gym. So I just had my phone nearby, and anyway, they ended up calling while I was at the gym. So I took a little pause, took the call. It was actually Coach Watcher that called me. Um, and then I got back to working out.
What was your reaction when you got that call? I feel like it made you enjoy those workouts a little bit more.
Yeah, it was really cool to get that call because obviously I was really nervous leading up to it. So yeah, it was exciting and I was just ready to go.
And just describe the emotions of putting that Canadian jersey on for the first time and getting the chance to represent your country in a big stage like that.
It was unreal. Like it's something that I've dreamed of my entire life ever since I started playing hockey. And it was a lot of hard work from not just myself but my entire family to to get me to this point. So yeah, putting that jersey on was really cool and just an unreal feeling.
Now, obviously, you guys played that tournament in Sweden. So, what's it like going to Sweden and what's it like playing hockey there? Because it looks like a pretty different hockey atmosphere compared to North America, at least from the games that I've seen, because they have all those advertisements on the ice, and it seems like it's a bigger ice surface than here in North America as well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Playing in a different country was awesome. Sweden is a really beautiful country. And being able to play on the Olympic size ice is really cool. Get to move the puck, skate a little bit more, which was fun. And then we got some time to walk around and tour the cities where we were at, which was cool. And obviously we had some really good food.
What type of food does Sweden have? All I know is the IKEA stuff, but I don't know how accurate that is.
Yeah, actually, one day we had like a rest day, and my parents were there. They had an Airbnb house, so they bought a bunch of Swedish meatballs and made a bunch for a couple of the girls that went over. And I think we ate probably 2 packs. They were so good.
Yeah, they are very good. I just don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know if like they make it differently here versus how they actually do it in the country.
Yeah, I've never had them from IKEA, so I'll have to
Yeah,
give it a try and I'll
yeah,
compare.
it is very good. I just know like that like Chinese, what's it, the fortune cookies aren't like Chinese, like
Oh
they're
yeah.
not Chinese at all. Like so, some of the stuff like I don't know if it's like authentic or not.
I've heard that too.
So, but let's talk about the tournament because you guys dominated that tournament, especially in the group stage. And your most notable win in the group stage was when you guys beat Team USA 3-1. Just talk about the Team USA versus Team Canada rivalry and from your perspective, because I think it's the best rivalry in sports. I know a lot of Americans always look forward to that game. I'm assuming it's the same for you guys up in Canada.
Oh yeah, it's always a good game. It's always a good time. It's something that you look forward to, especially just because a lot of us know a bunch of other girls on the other team, like on the US. So, it's good to go back and forth with them before we go out, and it's a good friendly competition. And those games are always close, so you never know what to expect.
Now, you guys won the gold medal, beating Sweden 10-0. What emotions were you feeling after that win, and where do you keep the gold medal today?
Yeah, so that was unreal feeling. Before the game, we were all really fired up in the dressing room after coming off the semifinals, which was really close. So we were ready to go, and I think just getting the 2 goals early on in the game, just calmed everybody's nerves, and we were able to play just like we we've played before. And it was just a dream to be playing at such a competitive level and then winning at that level. It's again just like something that you dream of when you're younger. So it's a pretty cool experience. Now I actually have the medal hanging up in my room with a couple other medals, but I need to get it like framed with the jersey. My dad said he was going to do that, so
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I
we'll
think
see.
you need to memorialize that a little bit. You can't just make it seem like it's just another medal.
Yeah, I know.
Is it heavy or is it sort of like it's not that heavy? I'm curious what it feels like.
It's pretty heavy. It's the heaviest one I've got, so
Hmm.
it's the best one. So
Oh, for sure, for sure.
yeah,
It should be heavier than the silver medal, I would hope.
hopefully.
Now, I do want to ask you about your recruiting process since this is a college hockey podcast after all. So, obviously, recently you committed to Wisconsin. So, talk about your recruiting process there and what made you want to go there versus other schools you might have looked at.
So I actually visited when I was in grade 7. In the summer, my whole family we made it like a road trip. We went out to the high school camp, and I loved it right away. It was so much fun. I loved the rink and all the coaches and everything was really cool. Then we came back. Then there was the pandemic, so we weren't able to go visit anything. We just kind of stayed home, trained, and then we weren't allowed to talk to any coaches until the summer that just passed. So when we were able to talk to coaches again, we were able to go out on official visits. I kind of just knew that's where I wanted to be. The city's great, the coaches and the players are the best. And I'm just really excited to get there and start to play some hockey.
Have you been watching any Wisconsin hockey this year, and what's your thoughts on their recent national championship win?
Yeah, I have. I watched the entire Frozen Four, and it was some really good hockey. I have to say the OT winner in the semis was pretty cool.
Hmm.
And then the rival with Ohio State is always really fun to watch.
Yeah, obviously Caroline Harvey's still going to be there by the time you get there, so I'm excited to play with a
Yeah,
player like that.
yeah, super excited. I mean, I just talking about that overtime in the semis, her celly, that was pretty sick. I loved
Yeah,
it. But
yeah.
yeah,
No.
she's super talented and I'm really excited to play with somebody at that level.
What do you think is going to be the biggest adjustment you have to make to college hockey once you get there?
I think the speed of the game is going to be a little bit different from what I'm used to. And everybody in college hockey is super talented. So I'm really excited to play in that kind of environment.
Have you met any of your future teammates with Wisconsin yet? I don't know how many of them were committed on the Team Canada team, but I'm just curious if you had the chance to run into any of them in the past.
Yeah, so on my official visit, I met some girls there. They toured me around. They were awesome. So I got to ask them questions and just about the team and about the city, which was cool. And then there's a couple girls that played with me in Sweden that are going to Wisconsin as well, and some other girls we played against.
Mhm.
So it's cool getting to play with and against the girls and just getting excited when we get to university.
What's the thing you're looking forward to the most about college hockey?
Oh God, I'm just excited for the competitiveness of the game and playing against, I guess, like the girls I played with here and being able to play against them at another level. I think it'll be really fun and exciting.
I feel like the fan aspect is also what I feel like in
Yeah,
college hockey a lot cooler than it is in junior hockey, at least from my
yeah.
perspective, just because it's the much bigger fan size, but also just like the sort of
hmm
the student section and all that stuff. It seems like they're really into it.
Yeah, I actually went to go watch one of the games when I was on my official visit, and it was the atmosphere is awesome, and just seeing that a lot of people are supporting the game was really cool.
So we're now in a segment I like to call the non-hockey segment, where I ask you some non-hockey questions just to get to know you a little bit more off the ice. So my first one is, what music do you like to listen to?
I listen to everything, honestly. Like I listen to a bit of everything, but for pregame, I like to listen to like some hip hop. My mom would know that because I played in her car on the way to games. Um, and then all my friends got me into country recently, so I've been listening to that too. But really, I listen to a bit of everything.
What's your most embarrassing hockey moment?
I'm gonna have to say it was this January in Sweden. We were playing the US. And I was skating with the puck up the ice and I was gonna get hit. And I saw the girl come in and hit me. And I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to give a little jump. Anyway, I ended up like halfway into the US bench. So I gotta say that was pretty embarrassing. But looking back on the video, it's actually pretty funny because I heard it from the girls on the bench, which was pretty funny.
Can you repeat any of the stuff that they said to you when you were like sort of in the bench a little bit?
Honestly, I don't even remember because I was thinking about getting out of there right away. I don't even remember, but it was funny. It was a pretty funny time. It was embarrassing, but the
Yeah.
video is pretty funny. It'll get you laughing.
I feel like a lot of the players usually just want to shove you out of there because it's kind of
Yeah,
like having someone like in your bench when you're just trying to like focus on the game. So it's more like get out.
yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Now let's talk about some of your teammates with the Etobicoke. Whose is the funniest on the team?
The funniest, I have two. This past season, I have to say, Taylor Story was always a good time. She had everybody laughing always, always the funniest jokes. And Mac Alexander, she's quiet when you meet her. She's really quiet, but once you break her, she's the funniest person ever.
Who has the best style on the team?
I have to say our goalie, Mari Peterson. She's got some of the best shoe style I've ever seen. And I swear she's got a different pair of Jordans every time, every game, which is always sick. And I'm jealous. They're so nice.
Well, you better be posting that stuff for those pregame outfits that they do because I want to see
Yeah,
some of those shoes.
yeah, they're pretty cool.
Getting back to some more non-hockey questions, if you could have lunch with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
Oh God, probably I would say Austin Matthews, just so I could question him and figure out how he shoots the puck, like the way he
Mhm.
shoots it.
What?
That's the goal.
Oh yeah, I think he has the best shot in the NHL. Either him or at least the best wrist shot in the NHL. I would say
Yeah,
he has the best one-timer, and then best
yeah,
slap shot. I probably like Eric Carlson or Kale McCarr. Probably I would say has the best slap shot.
yeah. If I could have lunch with all of them, I would, and just give them all the tips of how they
Hmm.
shoot like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'd probably have lunch with McDavid just because I think he's a great skater, and that's something that
Yeah,
I wasn't really good at when I played. So I'd want to learn how to get better at that aspect.
yeah, for sure.
Now, one more non-hockey question is, what is the most interesting thing you've read or seen this week?
Oh, I'm gonna have to say the four overtimes with Florida and Carolina the other night. I didn't stay up to watch it, but I saw all the highlights and all the videos on Instagram the next day, and I thought that was pretty funny seeing everybody fall asleep in the stands.
Yeah. Are you a fan of those long overtime games? Because personally, I think at some point you got to find a way to end these games because I feel like it's very
Yeah,
hard for people to stay up through them. And also, like, it's not good for the players because they're gonna have to play again tonight, and it just sort of ruins
yeah,
the product, in my opinion.
yeah. I honestly it doesn't happen very often, so when it does, I think it's pretty funny. But it would probably be really tough to play through.
So, yeah, I think the most interesting thing that I saw was Dubas leaving Toronto, just because I didn't really expect
Yeah,
that happening, and now I'm sort of curious where the Leafs, how they sort of go on from here.
yeah. We'll see what's next. I was not expecting that either.
I thought Shanahan was pretty honest during his press conference about how it all went down, which I also found pretty surprising as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So getting back to some hockey questions now. First one is for all the younger players that are listening to this. What advice would you give them on what it takes to make it to college hockey, where you're going to be in a few years?
I just say working hard. I think that's the most important thing a player could have. You know, skill and talent can only get you so far, but I think work ethic is not just important as a hockey player, but I think as a person.
What should be done to help grow women's hockey from your perspective?
I think just getting more viewers, and showing how much talent and how much skill and how awesome there like how many awesome players there are in women's hockey. I think people would appreciate that a little bit more if they were able to see it.
How does Canada do promoting your games in the OWHL? Because I see the OHL and WHL games like sometimes, but I feel like I never get this chance to see your games at all. So how do they try to promote your team and your games? I think Etobicoke does a good job with their social media. I'm just curious like how the whole league is promoted and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think Etobicoke and Joe does a really good job of getting us a good like presence on social media and Instagram and Twitter, and getting us a lot of good opportunities. So I think a lot of teams throughout the league are doing the same thing, just like a big trying to get a presence on social media and just give us an opportunity to show our talent, to show our skill and what we've got. So
Well, do you have any shout outs you want to give to any of your teammates, family members, or friends? And who should we have on the podcast next?
yeah, obviously just shout out to the family. Thank you. And then I guess for the next podcast, I'd say Kaylin Kramer or my D partner from Worlds, Kira Hurry. They're both some studs and really good hockey players. I think they'd be fun to have on here.
Awesome. We'll definitely reach out. But I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Emma. I really appreciate your time. I wish you all the best for next season. I can't wait to see you play college hockey with Wisconsin very soon. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to play some college hockey and get to Wisco.